failure was the script they wrote for you, the story they whispered in the dark, the expectation they clung to, the outcome they celebrated before it ever had a chance to materialize. Every doubt they cast, every obstacle they placed, every moment they watched from a distance, waiting, hoping, betting that your fall was inevitable. It was supposed to be simple. You would break, you would surrender, you would disappear into the faceless mass of those who tried and failed, never to be spoken of again. Expectation is a dangerous thing. Those who want to see destruction rarely prepare for the alternative. They don't consider what happens when the target of their doubt does not crumble. When the one they dismissed as weak, as incapable, as temporary, instead becomes something so undeniable that their hopes curdle into regret. They never imagined the day would come when they would be forced to watch your ascent. Time has a cruel way of making people face their own miscalculations. The same voices that once dismissed you now speak your name with hesitation. The same ones who wanted you to fail now tell themselves they always knew you would rise. And yet, beneath their false praise, beneath their forced acknowledgments, the regret remains. Not because of what you became, but because of what they bet against and lost. Modern society thrives on manufactured failure. Systems are designed to keep the ambitious in check, to reward the predictable, to punish the ones who refuse to conform. If success was guaranteed for those who worked for it, the world would have no use for mediocrity. So the expectation is built into the framework. Most will fail. And when someone refuses to play by those rules, when someone decides to carve their own path, it creates discomfort. The mind of the doubter operates on patterns. If someone has never seen greatness rise from the ashes, they assume it is impossible. If they themselves have failed, if they have surrendered, if they have accepted the fate handed to them, they expect others to do the same. The mere idea that someone could break the cycle, that someone could push past the boundaries designed to keep them contained, it terrifies them. There was no applause for your struggle, no recognition when you fought in the dark, when you pulled yourself up from the depths, when you had nothing but your own will to keep moving. No one stood at your side when you were unheard, unseen, unnoticed. And yet, here you stand, proof that expectation is a flawed currency, that the world's predictions hold no weight when measured against an unbreakable will. Success forces people to reflect on their own limitations. The ones who hoped for your failure now wrestle with their own choices, their own stagnation, their own inability to do what you have done. It is not jealousy that eats at them. It is self-recognition. Because if someone else could escape, if someone else could rewrite their fate, if someone else could rise from nothing, then what does that say about those who chose to remain? There is no greater revenge than proving them wrong. Not through words, not through retaliation, but through existence itself. To walk into a room and see the silent discomfort in their eyes, to hear the hesitation in their voice as they force themselves to acknowledge what they once doubted, to know that no matter how much they try to rewrite history, they will always remember what they wished for and how badly they miscalculated. The weak hold onto bitterness. They look for conflict, for ways to make their enemies feel their victory. But the truly unstoppable, they do not look back. They do not waste breath, proving a point, do not seek validation from those who never believed in them. They simply rise, higher and higher, until the ones who doubted them are left watching from below, suffocating in the realization that they lost long before the game ever began. The world does not reward hesitation. It does not move for those who wait to be acknowledged, nor does it open its doors for those who tread lightly, uncertain of their own significance. Action shapes reality. A mind that moves with intent bends the world around it, forces unseen forces into alignment, compels even the most stubborn circumstances to shift in its favor. The moment doubt is discarded, the moment movement is made with certainty, the game changes. The rules are rewritten. Power is no longer something to be earned. It becomes something that is taken. A step taken in full confidence is a step that alters fate. The ones who hesitate, who second-guess, who whisper their ambitions rather than declare them, remain trapped in the same cycle of irrelevance. The mind dictates the outcome before the action is ever made. Walk like every motion holds significance. Move as though the weight of the universe depends on your decisions, and the universe will respond. Not because it favors one person over another, not because of some mystical force that rewards belief, but because certainty creates gravity. The moment the mind believes fully, the world has no choice but to bend to that belief. Doubt is the death of power. The weak hesitate, waiting for validation, for proof, for reassurance, before taking a single step. The ones who shift the course of history, who shatter the expectations of those around them, act without permission. They speak with finality. They move with purpose. They decide what reality will become, rather than waiting for reality to decide for them. This is not arrogance. It is the understanding that the world belongs to those who claim it. Every interaction, every movement, every word spoken is a message to the world about what is deserved. The mind that carries itself as though it matters, as though it is undeniable, as though success is an inevitability rather than a possibility, attracts the circumstances that reinforce that belief. Those who wait for proof before they believe in themselves never receive it. Those who act before evidence exists force the evidence to manifest. The ones who are certain before the world agrees with them are the ones who shape the future. The world does not respond to passive ambition. It does not rearrange itself for those who lack conviction. Every empire, every legend, every figure who rose from obscurity did so not because the world granted them permission, but because they decided their own significance long before anyone else did. The outcome is already written in the mind before it ever unfolds in the world. A mind convinced of its own power sees opportunity where others see obstacles. The same event that discourages one person will propel another forward, not because of luck, not because of external forces, but because of perception. Every event bends in favor of the one who acts as though it already does. Success is not found, it is created. The circumstances that align in favor of the unshakable mind were always there, waiting to be recognized. Movement creates momentum. The moment the mind commits fully, without hesitation, without doubt, without waiting for reassurance, events begin to shift. The world has no choice but to react. The air changes when a mind, with certainty, enters a room. The dynamic shifts. The presence of one who knows, rather than hopes, is undeniable. The illusion of randomness dissolves, and what once seemed chaotic begins to form patterns. Patterns that benefit the one who dares to act with authority. Relationships, opportunities, power structures, all of them revolve around belief. A person who acts as though their presence is necessary will find doors opening where none existed before. A person who moves as though success is inevitable will find others following that momentum. The ones who hesitate, who shrink, who question their right to exist in the spaces they desire, are forgotten. The ones who move with force, with certainty, with an expectation of victory, leave the world with no choice but to make room for them. Every day, the universe is waiting for instructions. The weak beg for direction. The strong impose their own. Power is not taken by force alone. It is taken through the belief that force is unnecessary. The moment an action is taken with the certainty that it matters, it does. Not because of fate, not because of some external validation, but because the world cannot ignore what refuses to be ignored. Move like every step is part of something unstoppable. Speak like every word shifts the course of history. Act like what is being done matters. Because the moment that certainty takes root, the events that unfold after will leave no doubt that it always did. The ones who move as if their actions matter shape the world without permission. Every great shift in history, every unexpected rise, every force that seemed to emerge from nowhere, all began in the mind of someone who decided their presence was non-negotiable. The world is not made for those who wait to be chosen. It does not reward patience disguised as fear, nor does it elevate those who beg for acknowledgement. Power, influence, success, all follow those who act as if they already belong at the top. The moment the mind refuses to see itself as lesser, the world is forced to respond in kind. This is why those who carry themselves with certainty are feared. The ones who hesitate are predictable, easily dismissed, easily contained. But the mind that refuses to acknowledge limitation, the one that speaks with the authority of inevitability, the one that walks through locked doors as if they were always meant to be open. This is the mind that unsettles those who live in doubt. It is not action alone that shifts the world, but the belief that underpins it. A king does not ask to be crowned. A legend does not wait to be recognized. A force of nature does not seek approval before it reshapes the land.